Aloha, kakayaka means good. It's not good morning, it's evening. Boy, it's been such a busy day today. I did what I needed to do on this full moon Monday, which is January 17th, our first full moon. Well, I did my oyakoko and I took my mom to visit my dad and my rest of my family, my ancestors, to pay them respect and just giving them their appreciation, because they are our guardian angel. We may not think they are, but they are watching us. So I always pay respect to my ancestors. And I learned that habit from my mom. My mom has been going on for the last 10 years since my dad passed away. She's gone every single month. And so whenever I can, ever since I came back, since the pandemic in 2020, I took my time and really spent a lot of time in getting back to know my family, and that was something that really, not because I was gone for that 5 years, is for the last 15 years. Because when you have your own business or you have your own life, we kind of just somehow drift away from our parents, or we get closer to our parents, and for me, it was more of drifting away. And some of the things that I regret was, wishing I spent more time with my parents, when my dad was still alive. And so, but he's watching me over there, because I was very lucky. And when I was little, I was daddy's girl. And so he would take me all over the place, like Kanlaku Tea House, to go see Uncle Paul Fuji. And, he'll take me down to Liki Liki to go see Uncle Roy. And so, or Zippy, Uncle Charlie Higa. So my dad was a generation where he helped build people's restaurant business. And so, I remember Suihiro, Suzuki, Suzuki-san. It's like really old school, when days where I was so glad that I was lucky to go in my dad's car, jump in the car with him, and just drive off to go see his friends and just to hang out and talk story. And I'll be just like sitting there just getting all these information. And then my dad would tell me, hey, don't tell mom. And I'll be like, tell her what? Kind of thing. And my dad was so cool. He'll let me drive like the car since I was like, 5 years old. And my sister, my mom would go nuts, but I didn't care, But anyways, those are the times that, you got to think back and thank our parents, our grandparents, and our great-grandparents, and, our ancestors, because they do play a vital role in our everyday life. For me, is when I really get down into my session, I become the Whoopi Goldberger, so I could just be the person, like the medium, to get through the messages. And sometimes when we have our one-to-one session, it gets really heavy, it gets really deep, it gets very emotional, it gets really to the core. And so it takes up a lot of energy. And and especially I can only hold so much when I'm doing that. And so I tell my client, this is a message, this is what's going on. I don't know and if you have a session with me, you understand how it goes and how it flows, the energy. Because literally, it's all about the energy, the vibration, and the frequency. Like now, you can hear the waterfall. And for me is, I don't watch TV, so those kind of musics and those kind of sound keeps me in tune at that sound. And certain things that we have does come into earth's tone, or things that we feel that can calm our soul. And so tonight is the full moon, and I usually have my full moon workshop, but with all of these things that's confusion, right after a holiday with the pandemic, with, this is a time where we want to step back and really focus on thyself. And so this full moon series, and today is the first, and I got a lot of requests where I said, don't worry, I'm going to go live and just record, and I'll upload it on my YouTube. So don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube, because there is a lot of things going on in there. Plus, we're going to start doing our courses, online courses. And so anyways, going back to the full moon, let's focus. That's one of my behavior problems, because I'm all over the place. I talk about one story and then I go to the next story, because there's so many things that I want to share with you. But this segment, we're going to focus on the full moon, which is January 17th. And this full moon is in Cancer. And so what I was saying is that there was a lot of water things that happened, and it did. And it's because of the rise of the high frequency of certain things that is changing. And when I say it's changing, it's the environmental changes that's constantly happening, because there's this other part besides us on Earth. There's other things that's happening, the moon, the sun, the rest of the other, like Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. And I'm not going to go there because it gets too complicating. What I do is I receive all these messages, pile it on, and write forever on my book of memos, nonstop, of what I learned. And for me is, this is so much faster than looking for my notes or whatever on the computer, because I got so many things going on, and I'm sure everyone does. And so bringing that happen is, that's why January, like I've been saying, is for really cleaning up. We can put in challenges if our body and our mind and our soul is used to it. Like I'm doing the 30-day challenge for my Bikram yoga, because I've been doing it from a long time ago. And it's tough because you got to put it in with your schedule and all this other stuff, but that makes you disciplined for the rest of the year. And so this is where we really need to go, because there's going to be a lot of craziness happening. And I hate to say this, is because of, during the holiday season, a lot of things got closed, right? And so shipping and all that other stuff. And so that's going to start to affect prices, a shortage of things. There's also going to be some, shortage on how the products gets to one state line to the next state line. Some things coming in from out of state, for example, into the United States from Canada, right? And so there's going to be a fraction of interstate continuing on this pandemic thing, okay? Some people call it the endemic, because we don't know when it's going to end. But this is when we're going to live to choose what we want to do, because it's a lot to do, and especially with this signs that's happening, is about control. And control is really on the rise, because there's going to be a lot to do with mandates. And a lot to do with mandates on the other side is because there's certain things that's happening about a lot of high power people, because it falls into a category which we're going into, is about truth and lies. And a lot of these things are going to come out of the woodworks. And so whether it's in court, whether it's in the media, whether it's coming into as, because it's in the sign of poison. And when that happens, there's a lot of things that interrupt with the medical field. And so there's going to be, when I say craziness, there is going to be on that path that's going to start to, or is already started, and it's going to get worse for the next 3 to 6 months. And so this is where we have to focus where your power lies, where you want your power to lie on. Because there's going to be a lot of things of rebellious energy due to the trusting of the people. Because there is a yang energy, and there's going to be where the trust got to a point where things gotten crazy, you know. And I'm not going to go into that because we already know, and I'm not here to say which is right, which is wrong. I'm just saying where the power of things are occurring around us in the outer world, and we have to know. And so there's going to be a lot of crazy chaos things that's happening, and there's a lot of to do with the law, and justice is going to unveil on very high-ranking people, and it's already started to unveil. And so, you know, we have to go and get into that energy, because if we keep on getting ourselves into all wrapped up in that energy, all about, you know, how people's going to work with the vaccine, how people's going to go with the mandate, how people's going to go with the political power, how government is going to, you know, control, how the media is going to control, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's the kind of bubble wrap that there is going to be, that field of moving. And so you can create your own bubble wrap by really focusing on how your decision is going to be for the next 18 years, because 2 years we already spent in this chaos. And is it getting better? Is it getting worse? It's really, the dice is in your field of how you want to continue this. I love this cup. Be kind. Really, be kind. Excuse me. So one of the bad habits I used to do is drink a lot of tea, because I talk a lot and I do a lot of these things, and I couldn't go to sleep, you know. And so now I just do honey and lemon with hot water. And so that's another thing that we can change. You know, this tea is great, and we're going to have another segment or maybe a workshop about tea, because I got a whole bunch of my tea that I'm growing right outside. And so things like that, you know, we create our own bubble. We create our own, like for me, I created my own sanctuary. What did I do when this all happened? I started to say, you know what? I got to start to make my own food, my own flour, my own this, my own that. And I look at the yard and I'm like, okay, I'm in the mood of cleaning. So that's what I started to do. And I created this haven, this sanctuary, so I can give back that energy that I'm receiving every day when I wake up and I see my beautiful morning glory. That is what I'm saying, is creating and really bubble wrapping yourself. If you work 9 to 5, for example, and I have a lot of clients that does that. Some goes to work and some starts to, start the day. And so I tell them that you do certain things in the morning to keep you focused in your wrap. Whatever's happening, we cannot stop that. It has to happen. And so all of that is really creating your own way of downloading information, new ideas, innovation, creativities. Simple is best. I mean, I started off looking at my yard and I'm like, okay, And I digged and digged. Oh my God, I started from the front, literally from the front sidewalk into my garden. And now I'm going out this way. It's crazy. And then I'm starting to get into my orchids. So this is what I'm saying is start to groom yourself in a certain way of which lifestyle you want to go on, because it is a new world. There's going to, you've been hearing this. And everybody's talking about all these things, but the simple way to understand this is really these two things that's happening. And so 2-2 is exactly what it means. 2-2, okay? It means when you're having that split of decision of which wrap, like I just put, for example, this bubble wrap that you want to wrap yourself, your own world. You create that. And you're going to be like, well, I'm not like you. It's like, you don't need to be like me. I'm like I'm saying, whether you work a 9-to-5 job, whether you work at home, you create your own environment. I did it when I was living in LA, in a small apartment, And I created my own Cocojor world with my heaven. I went outside in my patio. I have a whole bunch of orchids over there. I had my little piece of heaven with heaven. And so, like, plants like this that you can start to create. Look. All of a sudden, everything started to kind of, let me turn it off because it's Lily Mercury retrograde started on the 14th. 14th of this month. And for me is certain things when it comes to appliance, electricity, like my car didn't start on Friday, the 14th, and now my waterfall just stopped. So I'm gonna, so when those things happen, I really react really quickly. So that energy doesn't stagnate into, like, it stops. So hold on one second. And that's what you do. You just turn it off. And when you turn it off, you get a different vibration. And you start to focus, because that's how we get distracted with other powers. And usually this happens during the Mercury retrograde, which starts, like I said, on the 14th, and it goes all the way till February the 3rd. And so during that time of Mercury retrograde, we have to focus on things such as electronic stuff, communication, as well as cars, electrical, and things going to be a lot of delays. And so that's why I'm saying that produce, prices, these kind of things are going to go skyrocket, because there are also going to be problems with drivers, transportation. They're going to probably start putting mandates, because if you go from Canada to the U.S. or Mexico to the U.S., it's from different country, foreign country. So I'm saying that we have to really start to really look into this is the perfect time on your diet, because there's going to be a lot that there's going to be changing, as well as man-made produce. It all started off with a TV dinner and went great. We went into frozen food, and now there's going to be beyond the burger or beyond whatever, plant-based this or there's going to be a lot of those kind of things coming into the market because of certain things, because it's all going to be lab-made and it's going to be shipped directly. So what I'm saying is there's going to be a huge change in produce as well too. And so produce and products and certain things like that. So really, this is a pivoted point on where things are changing. Things that you never thought, like beyond the burger, that it will ever happen back then. So there's going to be, like I said, real tightness between the battle of just gonna break and the new versus the old. And so a lot of the old government things are start to rattle and rumble. And the people power, which we've, literally forgot that we have, is very, very strong. And that's also going to really, really increase. And so, at the same time, this is a time where a lot of people really want to focus, whether you are very spiritual, or if you are very into religion, whether you are into a certain kind of belief system. This is a time to really analyze your belief system and reconnect to yourself, because this is the best homework that you can start to do and let go of certain types of things that you feel that you want to extend yourself and get much more different kind of energy coming in. Why I say that is because the water energy is really physically, mentally, emotionally, really is controlling the power right now, because we have air energy and water energy, and so really start to talk to yourself. Whether you're taking a shower or washing the dishes or doing the laundry, have a one-on-one time with yourself. And, this works. Write it down. And if you're like, oh, I don't want my husband to see it, or I don't want my wife to see it, or I don't want A, B, C, D, E, F, G to see it, well, you know what? You go figure it out. Because there's nothing wrong with writing things out, because when you have it in your computer, it could be, who knows. But this is really, you get to see how you write, how your energy looks like, and you laugh about that time because only you can look at it and remember it. That's how we're really going to understand about, because this is a time when we're going to go and remember, this is like a 3-day homework for yourself. When you can get the most greatest power using the moon energy. And because the light is such a powerful force during that time, write down, choose on what you really went through in the last 2 years. Okay? Because all you hear sometimes, and I'm getting over it, when people say, well, the pandemic one, it really affected me, and, this and that. Yes, I was affected. Everybody was affected. I don't think there is nobody in this whole entire universe wasn't affected, whether it was bad or good. Okay? So let's put all of that inside, because we need to move forward, because if we keep on doing this pandemic going to end up to be an endemic. It's never going to end. And so choose on what you went into that you kept in the last 2 years. Write it down. Okay? See, a lot of us lost our job. And a lot of us did lose our job. And we became self-employment. Or we became self-efficient. Or write down all the good things. I'm sure we can come up with 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 bad things that happen. Why do you want to bring back 2 years from now into that? Okay, so whatever is on this file, what you went through. Let's say everybody went through some financial hardship. Some people lucky gained some financial goodness. Good for you. God bless you. And some choose to just ride the wave together with whatever everybody's saying. I'm going to ride it with everybody. And so You're the one who choose what you wanted to do. So this is really the next 3 days is really choose on what you went through in the last 2 years and keep what is good and work on it. And things that was bad, put it on things that you want to just let go. Financial difficulties is a great subject. Let it go. Okay? And then when you let that go, you have to have a follow-up to say, okay, in that financial difficulty, you're going to change up the mindset, and we're going to write positive things. Boom. I'm going to launch my product on a certain day. Boom. I'm going to go and finish my schooling. Boom. I'm going to go and get more educated in cooking. Boom. I'm going to, get more educated more about technology or this NFS coins, or it's not coins, it's properties that's, is hitting the market, or Bitcoins or whatever. And so these are going to be really start to become into, write down the date, January 17th to the 20th. These days is like, because I always work in threes. And so, because it's so much easier. And I'm going to go into details in my webinar. And so, this is a way to help you already kickstart January. And I can go more into about what's going to happen in the next 2 years, because this is like, some people call it the quantum leap time, and how to find the tools to leap over into the 2024. And so really focus on this month really about your habit, because that is going to be something that's going to be disrupted on your patterns and how you're going to do it and how it's going to work, and whether you're going to be angry or not angry about it, where are you going to really put in your energy, that pivotal point that you're going to focus on. And so really a lot to do in this full moon is really to be simple is at the best right now. And really finding that downtime to create this. And if you're used to writing it down on your computer or your iPad or whatever, it's how you choose to do it. But for me this is like musical notes for me, and it goes back because it just gives me a reassurance of life. And so that's what we all want, is a reassurance in life. And so this is one way that we can go on this full moon, is writing off, because you got to write off and let go some of these bad habits, this bad behavior problem, and open up things that your intention, because you don't want to go in circles. Because I have a lot of people that still going in circles. They went into my class, they went to my challenge, and it's okay. But it's not okay when you start to blame it on something like your husband or your ex-wife or your kids and this and that. You're going back into circle. And so my class is really focusing on one thing, and that one thing only is you, yourself. I'm just a guide to help you with the tools and give you information and knowledge that I was so very, very lucky to receive. And so if you expect all these wonders and these things that I can do only so much. The rest is really up to you. And I am your biggest cheerleader. And so with that, please make sure to really take that moment, that time for the full moon. And there's 3 things. And if you're into crystals and things like that, if you don't have crystal, that's fine. But those that have crystals, for the next 3 days, put it outside so it can be re-energized and really take out all that unnecessary intention that it gathered, because it's all about the frequency, the energy, and the vibration that you put in. And those are alive crystals, that something that really helps us cleanse ourselves. So that's what we do during the full moon. So crystals for 3 days, put on a nice beautiful candle. For some reason, the universe decided to, shut down my waterfall, which is great because I have time to listen to peace. And this is so important, is to really have peace. By creating peace, you understand the blissfulness. Hear that lies within us. And so, for me is I've just been very, very fortunate to have a good guide to take me to really born out here in paradise, take me to the city of angels, take me back home to paradise, where I received so much great messages, so much great guidance, and most of all, tools that is so simple to use. 1, 2, 3. By using a lot of these really elements that's out there. It's just how to use it to the best to make us breathe healthier, longer, and really helps and solve a lot of our problems, from our aches to our pain to our migraine headaches to our backache to just breathing life. And so you stay tuned. There's so much coming in for really 2022. It is the year of the tiger. And guess what? In February the 1st is the Chinese New Year, celebrating the year of the tiger. So there's a lot of good, great energy. And there's a lot of energy of challenging, like what we are in right now, which is the Mercury retrograde that started on the 14th, on Friday. I remember because of my car didn't start. And today now is my water fountain just all of a sudden stop. And so these are the things of challenges that we're going to go through. But it is what it is. And don't let it really bother you. Just take it as stride and say, okay, it's that time again. And, sometimes don't take it so negative. Oh my God, it's Mercury retrograde. Oh, no, it's good. You get used to it. Just say, instead of getting all, oh, okay, shikata ga nai. Oh, well, whatevers, And so these, just take it into stride. Don't be so hard on yourself, most of all, because that's what brings us to a lot of stress. And we don't need that in the beginning of the year. In the beginning of the year, we need to stay focused, time to clean house, as well as also figure out what we're going to say aloha, let it go, and bring in the new intention when it comes to February the 1st. And so there's a lot of things to do on our plate, and I'm going to write down some stuff, but don't forget to join us on our YouTube, where I do some chit chat, because I do love to talk. And it is what it is. So you stay tuned. Have a wonderful full moon. And most of all, stay safe and take care of yourself, because you know what? You're the only one who have the master key to your soul. I'm just here to be your cheerleader. You go for it. Take care and aloha.